Hey everybody, Dr. Pancake Face here, and in this video, I'm going to give you a couple of tips and tricks that should make stealth heists a little bit easier when you're playing Payday 2. Now, there are a couple of things that you want to keep in mind whenever you're doing a stealth heist. Of course, knowing how the game mechanics works really helps. There are certain things like what exactly the enemy detects and certain things to do to make you a little bit less detectable to the enemy. Stuff like that. That really helps you, to be a little bit less detectable to the enemy. There are other things like, knowing the map. When you know the map, it's a lot easier to stealth it, obviously, than when you don't know the map. And then stuff like perks. Perks are extremely helpful whenever you're doing a stealth mission. Like certain things that I didn't know when I first started off doing stealth missions. There is a perk that when you pick it up, enemies don't make as much noise when you kill them. Extremely helpful when you're trying to do a stealth mission, believe it or not. I did not know that when I first started off. And I'd fucking shoot a guard or knife a guard or something and he'd scream and, oh, dang it, well, there goes that mission. So it turns out perks can be helpful. And last but not least, luck and patience. Believe it or not, a lot of the stealth missions have to do with having patience and being lucky with some of the RNG, which is the random number generator stuff. That has to do with things like where objectives spawn and how the map layout is spawned and what kind of paths the guards take, stuff like that. So I'm going to go on ahead and jump on into a couple of maps and try and give you a couple examples of some of the things that I'm talking about and sort of show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so here we are in the art gallery map. And I picked this one because it's a pretty small one and I kind of covered quite a few of the things in here. Now, as you can tell, there are several of the guards that are outlined in red. Oh, where are you going? Okay, yeah. Anyways, there are several of the guards that are outlined in red like this. Now, you can see how those are lighter red and that one's a darker red. Now, that is because there are two different particular perks that you can use to light up a guard like that. First off, we have a perk called Spotter. It is in the Mastermind tree. I believe it is on the left side and it is up on the 4th level if you count the med kit is the first level. So the med kit would be first level and then, the 3 perks second level, blah, 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 4th level. Anyways, the Spotter perk. Really, really nifty perk to have whenever you're doing a stealth mission. And this is why you can go and buy these cameras, the spy cams, and I think you can place 3 of them at a time, up to 3 of them. And essentially what they do is whenever a guard gets into their view, they will light them up red like this. Really, really good to have that sort of stuff. Because now look at this. I know where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the guards are at one time. I mean, now it's down to 3, but still, you know what I'm saying. You know where several of the guards are at one time. And I mean, hell, when you're doing the bank heist, you basically cover the entire inside of the bank with these spy cams. Now, the next perk that you have, which makes these guys light up dark red like this, is actually in the fugitive tree. I do not remember what this thing is called, but essentially, if I recall correctly, I believe it is also in the 4th level of perks if you count the med kits as the first perk, or as the first level of perks. It's right in the middle, 4 levels up, and when you spec into it, if you stand still for up to either 3 or 3.5 seconds, then it will essentially light up anyone within a certain radius. And the way it does it is it basically sends out almost like a pulse, like a radar or sonar pulse out from where you're standing at. And it goes up to the radius of whatever the perk says. And anyone within that radius, boom, they get lit up. with that dark red outline. So basically, I could go over here, and if I don't have the spotter perk, I can stand right here, count to 3, and then it'll send out that pulse, and it'll light up anybody that's on the other side of this wall. Very, very nifty to have in missions that you can't have these spotter cameras up. Now, there are other perks like I mentioned before, like when you shoot people, they make less noise. Very helpful to have in a stealth mission. Very, very helpful to have in a stealth mission. If you want to check out my perks, I'll go on ahead and throw in an annotation for my stealth build that I like to use. It's kind of a generalized stealth build. I have another specific one for like saws and stuff. I'll throw that one in and let you check that one out too. But the one that I use most of the time, which is one that I got turned on right now, is the one that's just the main stealth build, and it's kind of a generalized stealth build to kind of hit everything at once. Now, moving on from perks, we have map mechanics. This particular map, it's really helpful to know this map because basically what you want to do... Oh, hey, package. Basically what you want to do in this map is you're going in to steal these marked paintings, the ones that are marked as sold. Now, I can come up here, and we got all these skylights, and I can use these skylights to look down in and figure out where the marked paintings are. It does not look like there's any over here. But yeah, anyways, just knowing how the map works and knowing what you need to do, that's half the fight. Oh, there's one. Yeah, that's half the fight. And no matter what you're doing, whether you're doing bank heist or whether you're doing art gallery or framing frame or election day, any of that stuff, very, very helpful to know the map. So, go on, check out some of the different people. There's tons of different people to do runs of this game. Go on and check out some of their runs and kind of see how the maps work out and figure out what you're working with. Like, there's certain things like the Golden Grin Casino, which is a particularly complicated map to do. I mean, you got to go in, get your gear, suit up, then you got to go in and you gotta go and get a schematics of the casino and figure out where the bank vault is at, and then you gotta go and figure out this one particular guy who's in this specific room that has a vent that goes down to the security room. You gotta go knock him out and blah 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 blah. Very, very long, complicated, drawn out heist to do. And if you don't really know what you're doing on that heist, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say you're probably not going to beat it. So, go check some people out. I mean, personally, I'd recommend General McBadass. That's who I always watch. He has really, really good videos for doing any type of stealth heist. Another interesting game mechanic, if we can get somebody to... Okay, this guy's coming over. Now, watch this. Here's a particular part of the map that's pretty interesting, if he'll come over here. I walk over here and activate that blow dryer right there, and he should walk right in. Let's see if he's going to come in or if he's going to be a douche and not come. Nope, he walked over there. Okay, well, yeah, there's certain game mechanics like that. Like you can walk up to this little thing and activate it and, Oh, son of a... Alright, so we are back. And... That just goes to show, even though I'm doing this little tutorial video and I'm not really trying to, go in and actually complete the heist, luck still plays a part. Because, I didn't even realize it, but I walked around the corner and bam, there's a guy standing right here. Now, as you can see, go ahead and cover another game mechanic real quick. You can see that these guys, I can see them, they're pretty close. Now watch this. If I can get one, oh! See that? I stand up, and he starts to see me. I crouch, doesn't see me anymore. Now that's just one thing to keep in mind when you're playing this game. The more you can stay crouched, It's almost like you have a radius that goes out from your body, and anyone within that radius can detect you. It's almost like your detection radius. And when you stand up, the radius gets bigger. And when you crouch, it gets smaller. If you can think about it like that, it'll help you a little bit, make it a little bit easier to kind of stealth in the game. And if you can try and stay crouched as much as possible. Let's see if we can get this guy with this. Show you this hair dryer here, or this hand dryer. Now watch this. See that? See how he walks just right in there? Normally, they would not do that.
Everything is under control.
Normally, they would come to that doorway and just stand there and not do anything. But that's one particular game mechanic of the map that I can use to kind of draw guards in here and take them out without having anybody see me. But yeah, back to what I was saying. If I stand up, they can see me. If I crouch, they can't see me. And honestly, that little thing that's going up, even though, look at that. Even though it's going up into the, it doesn't fucking matter. As long as it doesn't get all the way up to the top, you're golden. Don't even have to worry about it. I mean, I'm just sitting here. Oh, what's that? Oh, no, nothing. Oh, what's that? Oh, no, nothing. Hey, what's that over there? Oh, it must have been the wind. Yeah. Doesn't really matter. As long as it doesn't get all the way up to the top of the exclamation mark, you're good. Don't have to worry about it. Now, another thing that's really interesting to keep in mind. The head of the person.
Hey.
Ooh, it's going to be tough to show you here. Yeah, the head of the person is all that really matters. Let me see if I can get behind something and show you what I'm talking about. Because as you can see, I can kind of stand right there. Look at that. I mean, clearly, my body would normally be sticking out on either side. But as long as my head has something in between their head, they won't see me. And that makes this so much easier. Once you realize that really all you need to do is keep the outline of their head on the other side of another object and they can't see you, this game becomes so much easier. When I first started, I never would have actually thought of these as something that you can hide behind. Because, you know, clearly it's a goddamn pillar. You can't fucking hide behind that. I mean, you're not Bugs Bunny or something. But in reality, you can't actually hide behind that. Let me show you. Let's see if this guy can get over here to where I can show you what I'm talking about.
Look.
That's another thing that you always want to do whenever you're stealthing. You always want to mark guards as often as possible. Let's see. Come on. Come over here.
Hey.
No?
Hey.
Are you going to come over here?
Shit.
Yeah, it's always good to mark the guards and know exactly where they're at. Ah, I think we're about to have somebody come over here. Perfect. He's coming right next to me. I mean, look at this. Clearly, if this was in real life, he would see me poking out of the other side. But look at that. See, just barely the tip of his head is on the other side of that thing. He can't see me. I pop out, and he can see me. I pop back behind, can't see me. So all you really need to worry about is just the head. And I'll give you some, I'll go to a couple of maps and show you some examples where essentially you can see his feet or he can see your feet or something and it doesn't really start to notice you. It's only when they see your head, when their head sees your head, that, you know, the detection starts. Yeah, I think that about covers everything I can do in this map. So let's go on ahead and jump over to another map and I'll show you a couple more examples of some of the stuff. Alright, so here we are in the diamond heist. And here's a perfect place to show you the head thing. Now, here we have a guard. Let's see if we can get him to start seeing me. He's looking at his shoes. Alright, see? I stand up even though I'm close to him and he should be able to spot me. His head is on the other side of that wall right there. Now if I crouch back down, wait for him to stop checking his shoes for... Oh! Yep, see? See? It's all about the head. You just gotta keep the head behind something. The rest of the body doesn't fucking matter. See, I can't spot the body.
Hey.
But as soon as his head's visible, I can spot the rest of it. The head is really the only thing that matters in the game. Alright, here we are in the armored transport train heist. And we're here for a couple of different reasons. First off, I wanted to talk to you about different perk sets. Now, I have a generalized perk set that covers pretty much anything you're going to need in most stealth heists. And that's the one that I put the annotation in for. This is just called the stealth build. Basically, all that's really there for is just upgraded ECMs, different perks to allow you to spot people a little bit easier, stuff to make you carry stuff a little bit better, and then body bags, and that's really the main stuff. And as you can see in this particular one, I actually used both the body bag things. But this heist, I went a little bit different from normal. See, we got a saw. Now, my normal stealth build does not have the saw in it. I have a specific build made to use the saw in a stealth mission. It's my stealth saw build. Now, this basically the point I'm trying to get across with this is that sometimes you need different perk sets. And this is one particular time. Now, other heists that I've done, I've never really needed a saw. I think this one, and there may be one other particular stealth heist where I actually need a saw. But I mean, mainly, I usually just use the generalized stealth build that I have. It kind of covers everything. But, I mean, like I said, every now and then, you come across a heist that it's just easier when you have a different perk set. Like with this, the saw, it's just so much easier to open up these doors here rather than have to use ECMs and maybe some drill skills and hope that you get key cards and hope that nobody comes and sees the drill, and it's a waste of fucking time. One other heist where the silent saw build comes into play is Election Day. And if you get to the second day in Election Day on stealth, you have all of these different cages that you need to open up, and having the saw, very helpful. Really helpful to get into those cages, to find the shit that you need, to get all the loot that you need. Now, here is one particular thing to keep in mind when you're using a stealth saw build. Even though I have the silent engine upgrade on this particular saw, people can still hear it. Now, if they're far away from me, like right now, I can use this and it'll open this up, no problem. But watch this. I'm gonna get a little bit closer to this guy. He can't see me, but I'm still too far away. The range, it's not tremendously close, or I shouldn't say, it's not like, you know, far away, I guess would be a better way to put it. But alright, so he's above me. He can't see me, but watch this. Look at that. I just used the drill, or the saw, and I alerted him. That's one thing that you gotta keep in mind when you're using a silent saw build. Like on this particular map, you have guard paths that take them back and forth to either side of the train, and the very center of the train right there is a bitch to get into. Especially with this silent saw build, you basically have to wait for the most opportune time when the people aren't there, or just hope that you can get the spawns for the loot on the ends of the train, because the ends of the train are so much easier to solve. Now there is one other thing. I'm gonna go ahead and restart real quick. I spoke before about crouching. Now here's something that I see General McBadass doing all the time, and I figured out exactly what he's doing. and it helps you. It just helps you remain crouched a lot more often. And I'll show you what it is right here. Essentially, what you're doing is you're sprinting and jumping and crouching all at the same time. Because when you crouch, you walk pretty slow, and when you sprint, you're much more noticeable by the bad guys. Now, here's something that's kind of interesting. If you jump and then immediately crouch, you will crouch in the air and kind of keep momentum going. And something I see him do all the time is he will sprint and then immediately hit jump and then immediately hit crouch. And let me see if I can pull this off. I'm not quite as skilled as him at doing this. Probably because I don't have the perfect key bindings. But either way, this is basically what it looks like. That's not it. Hold on. Fuck that one up. There we go. See how I kind of float through the air while I'm crouched? If you watch his videos, you'll see him a lot kind of doing this number. Going along. And he's keeping up speed, but he's keeping his crouch. So essentially when he's crouched like that, he keeps his detection range much lower than if he were just sprinting through the level. That's one particular thing you can do to make it a little bit easier when you do stealth missions. Well, that about does it for this video. Hopefully it was helpful and not too confusing. I know I kind of bounced all over the place with some of the topics that I was talking about. I tried to, be coherent and have a plan of action when I was making the video, but I still kind of was a little random with what I was talking about and jumped all over the place a little bit. But I mean, hopefully with this, you should kind of get an idea of certain things that you can do that'll help you out and that'll make things a little bit easier when you're stealthing missions. Because I mean, when you're first starting off, and especially at lower levels, stealthing missions is much easier than going loud. You can usually do Death Wish on stealth, and if you know how the game works and how to do stealth missions, you can get through a level on Death Wish. Not too, it shouldn't be too hard, and you can get a pretty decent amount of experience out of that, and be able to go through the earlier levels relatively easy. I mean, that's usually what I do. Whenever I hit a new level of infamy, I'll go and do something like, jewelry store or diamond store or bank heist on stealth by myself, because I don't want somebody else in there that runs the possibility of getting impatient and messing it up. But I'll just go on ahead and do it myself, take my time, be patient, and finish it out, get plenty of experience out of it, and then jump up, however many levels it takes me up. And that'll allow me to go on ahead and dump several perks into my perk trees and get some decent perks, and maybe go and do a little bit harder of a stealth mission and get more perks, and then I get to the point where I can start doing some stuff on loud, on overkill, and get even more points. But either way, that's it for this video. If you liked this video, or if you found it helpful, then please go on ahead and hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later.